Okay. Good morning. We are in Taf Ayin Aleph, discussing about eating matzah in Erev Pesach. V'kodem sha'asiris mutar lechol matzah Ashira. Before the 10th hour, you are allowed to eat matzah Ashira. Hagav matzah sheyitzim b'balayla asurim lechol kol yom ha'barasar. It's also to eat any matzah which should be yotze your mitzvah the whole barasar. So therefore, for example, like if you discussions about knedlach, things like that, where you wouldn't be yotze your mitzvah anyway. So whether you can eat the knedlach on the chor, you could eat it. I think the minhag is not to, but the chor you could eat it hapidin. We'll get into a little later. We'll get in discussion on Erev Pesach Yos B'Shabbos, what you're allowed to eat and what you're not allowed to eat. Some people are yotze with boiled matzah, which doesn't fall apart. These things you're not yotze with, doesn't have tam matzah, so that's fine. But katan she'ena yodei mashem esaprim b'layla mitzias mitzrayim mutar la'achilo. A young child who doesn't really understand what's going on at night, you can feed him. Which nowadays, if talking about a 2-year-old, maybe 3. Usually by the time they hit 4 or 5, they're saying Mal Nishtana, so they have some idea of paro and whatever. Which, hey, the minig is not to, but it's a tamua, because you don't need to eat more l'teyavam. It's a chiddush, what teyavam is there. But maybe if it's talking about lettuce, so even though it's bitter, if you're talking about grain, okay, I sort of understand, but lettuce is the whole discussion about lettuce, chacham tzvi, whatever, why is that maror or not, so maybe that's the pshat, I don't know. You should be, on the first day, you should be careful about not eating extra, like maror and extra things. Some people, on first day Yom Tov, won't, stuff themselves with matzah so they can eat the second night. And those who machmir have to eat fruit, apples, dates, things like that, so they can eat charesis l'teyavon ve'ein lachosh the minig hahu, because who wouldn't eat? Who doesn't like eating? The matzah with charesis on the Pesach. That's like the highlight of the year. So I don't know. But l'chara, you don't have to worry about that. Yesh machrin shel lefarer or lishbar hamatzos be'erev Pesach shel avid le'echol behem. You shouldn't you break them into small pieces, because maybe you'll forget and eat them. It won't be like a whole matzah. In lochuch gam lazeh, and you don't have to worry about this either. Matzah shenever kitikna yacharach nispara v'nilusha v'yayim v'shemen. Matzah which was baked, and you made matzah meal, and you mix with yayim v'shemen, ain't a nikris matzah Ashira, so that's not matzah Ashira. Asur l'achla be'erev Pesach, and that's still asur to eat it on their Pesach. Gimel im hitzke lechol kolim sha'asiris. If you started eating before the 10th hour, mashcha sudaso ad alayla, and you kept on eating till the night, dinu k'mo b'shavasas shar yom tovim shenizvar le'el shenaz asur mishayin aleph, that your paris mapa u'makadesh, which is not, usually doesn't happen nowadays. A mitzvah, l'erchot v'galech be'erev Yom Tov, it's a mitzvah to take a shower and to get a haircut in Erev Yom Tov, v'lubosh v'ganim noim k'mo b'Shabbos, and to go ahead and to wear b'ganim noim like by Shabbos.
Or better. Or better.
Right, okay, the Fiyah the big day Yom Tov, more chashuv than Enochanami. There's a discussion about wearing a kittel. It's a different minhagim of wearing a kittel by the Seder. Some say that some say that the minhag is only the head. Some say you don't wear it b'chlal because it's masking and marisa. Some say you wear it because it's like tahara. It's different. Lefia every person's minhag. Yesh Shulchan Tavayin Beis. Yesh Shulchan Aruch b'Boid Yomi. The table should be set, if possible, before Yom Tov. You should eat fast as you can right after it gets dark. V'af imhu b'bayit beis hamedrash yakom. So he says Rabbi Kiva got up 2 times during the year. One of the times out of the beis medrash was Pesach. You should get up, and you should mitzvah lamar v'le'echol b'shvil tinoga sheyishana. It's a special mitzvah to quickly start so the kids won't fall asleep. You can't say Kiddush until Achatechshach, couple ha'aros, I've been in shuls where they're marich, and here they say Hallel, or shuls they sing Hallel, and they're marich and tefillah and singing, and l'chorah that's against the Shulchan Aruch. I don't know, because you should, do a quick as marif as possible in order that, like a Motzi Yom Kippur marif, so that, cause you have to run home and do your, mitzvah salayla, and you don't want the kids to fall asleep. You show up a half hour after tzeis because everyone was singing, your kids are tired, whatever.
If there are no children, there's not.
There's no children, do what you want. There's no Indian, you can start late. But the point is, if there's kids, you want to start right away. And there's the idea of how much do you have to push your kids to stay awake? So really, the Ikar Din, you're not talking about a 1-year-old, whatever, but a kid who understands a bit, they should, Kulpanim say Manishtana, and until Avadim Hayinu, they should stay up. There's different, I've been in many people's houses and the kids stay up as long as they can. And they think maybe that you should get through, Haggadah quickly so you can get them they can hear Haggadah and have Matza. That's also the Indian of Chotfinis and Matzahs, the Chok Yaakov, the Achronim bring here about, different pshatim, but obviously one of the pshatim is that the kids try to chap the matzah, and that's to keep them, awake, because, they want to get the afikoven, so they can, whatever, even though they're yesh b'faftikim on the minig, some achronim, but that seems to be minig klal Yisrael, big adol, to go ahead and to, whether I've seen different minhagim also, whether the kids steal it and hide it. I've seen a different minhagim that the father hides it, the kids look for it. I've heard of different minhagim. Al-Kulpanim is all to try to keep the kids awake, to get through the Seder.
Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky said that you shouldn't hurry so much to get you shouldn't hurry in such a way that it'll be pogea in the Suda, because your wife has worked so hard to.
Okay, but we'll get to Chatzos, yeah. Yeah, we'll get to Chatzos soon. Yasada Shulchan Aruch b'kelim noik fikocho. You should use the fanciest kelim that you have. Yachim makom mushavo sheyesh behaseba derecheres, that you should set up your seating. Should be able to do haseba. There are chayrus. I did see a discussion about, we'll see about how to do a seba, but it should be, set up, properly. We'll see in a second how to do it. Hagav, I feel ani she'ein lo karim, if he has any pillows, yeshiv al asafsal, he should sit on the bench and lean over on the bench. Gimel kashu meisev lo yata al gavo, he should not lie down on his back, lo apanav, nor on his face, so that how you would eat, but Akopanim, you shouldn't be facing slowly down. Below Ayamino, not on his right, because of Ashira, it's kind of leveshet, you're maktim kind of leveshet, you might choke. Chas v'shalom al smalo. Ein chiluk bein iter la'acher, because physically there's no difference in the, in the epiglottis and all these things, whatever, whether you're a lefty or not. Haseba is, just leaning slightly to the side is not, I don't know if you're Yodze, just lean to the side a little bit. You should be leaning as much as you can on a pillow. If you have an armchair, it's enough to lean someone on the pillow. To lie, to set it up in a way you can lie, like a bench, some sort, you can lie mostly down on your arm. There are some people who put couches. I know people put couches. I saw a discussion about whether Rashi says Haseba was your person's feet were on the ground and he was leaning over, not that his feet were actually on the bench. Feet, and the meaning of his parent, whatever. That's Isha. Isha enet tzvicha haseba ela imken hi chashuva. A woman doesn't need haseba unless she's chashuva. What does the Isha chashuva mean? So they say that the pshat is that she's not meshubed like a shivcha, meaning that she's not, there are some, I guess, whatever, Hagal, we'll see in a second, nashim shalano mikri chashuvos, The Ramah says everyone all Nashim called chashuvos achol nagu lehesed ki samchol divei Ravya. There's one as in the hesed. A woman of Chosh, you'll see in Ebenezer that she, who's like a woman who's an ani. She bakes the bread. She worked very hard. Back then she had to bake the bread, and she had to, she worked. The husband, worked out, and he came home. He ate a bit. She mamish worked, with the kids, and mamish, avodas parech. I mean, l'chara. So she shouldn't do a seva because she still has some sort of shiva to the house. Shiva to the family. However, the Ramah says nowadays all nashim are not considered akadei kach. Still considered choshev, but since the Raviyah holds Yoni Haseba nowadays, because that's how we, sitting at the table is enough of a seva, so therefore they're making not to mechayev, it's not the derech for women to do it. If your little girl wants to bring a pillow to the table and do it, it's not a problem, but I don't know. Ben Eitzel Aviv Tzarech Haseba, child by his father does need to do haseba. I feel him Rabba Muvach, even if his father's Rabba Muvach, because obviously he's meichel and it's covered. It's not covered to do haseba in front of a father or a rebbe, but a father wants his kids to do mitzvahs, so therefore he's meichel. He doesn't need haseba. Feel in a Rabba Muvach, if he goes to a rebbe's house, even if he's not Rabba Muvach, he does not need haseba. Elian Kain Yintein Rabba Rishus, he has to ask his Rebbe for Rishus. You shouldn't just assume that his Rebbe gives him Rishus. A person should ask, Ashira Bacher goes to his Rebbe, whatever it is, he should dafka ask for Rishus. Tal Chacham Muflach B'daro, Afavi Shalolama Mimenu Klom, Chashiv Kerabba Ve'enu Tzarech Haseba. He's like everyone's Rebbe, he doesn't need Haseba. But dafka Kashe Oichen on Shulchan Echad, it's dafka when they eat on one Shulchan, Im Oichel al Shulchan, however, if he's on a different shulchan, he has to do haseba. I was once by one of my rabbi's house, and he said, for Kavod Torah, he put us on a different table, because to show Kavod Torah, you shouldn't be meisev in front of a rabbi, so he said he put us on an adjoining table, but Akufani, the minute you should ask your rabbi as a Kavod Torah. Hashem, Ashamish, Tarech Haseba, someone who's a waiter, at in a hotel or I don't know, whatever, also needs to do haseba, if they're eating while everyone else is eating. And call me shetzarech haseba im achal shasa below haseba lo yatsa. Anyone who does eat haseba and does not do it when he drinks arba kaisis and matzah, then he's not yotzei. V'tzarech lasu v'lecha v'lishtos v'haseba. He has to go back and drink. V'shulchan Aruch is a minute, we'll see, it's suggested, but it's not a chiyuv. Agav yishon devzanazeh in the inderech lahesev kedaihu Ravya lismach al shibidiyeved yotza below seba. Some say that since the Ravya taka holds, you don't have to, so what, to make him drink again? You don't need to, but nearly imlo shasa koif shlishi revi be'aseba ein lachs relishlis be'aseba. The Ramah says that he's willing to be makel on the last two cases, that you won't need, if you don't drink haseba, it's okay. The yeshbach shashinir can meisif ala cases, because there's an extra issue that if you drink more, it looks like you're meisif ala cases, which is more chamor. That the first cases you have to go back and drink again. Also chilas matzah, and you should be careful because you don't want to have to sit and eat another two kazesim if you forgot to do haseba. Chachila yesiv kol asuda. Chachila you should try to do haseba as much as you can during Shulchan Aruch.
The Bruce says about Hikoma at the top of the end of Chaf Beis.
Right. Like Afikoman's the last one.
Right?
No, before Birchas Hamazon. Just this is Afikoman should be the last thing. So I guess if you call this a Shem Afikoman, then you should. We'll see. We'll have to see when we get there about eating after the Afikoman. Will remind me about this thing. You shouldn't go out and eat it. Right. Tzarech lishtos arba kaisis al haseder. You should, you're supposed to drink arba kaisis al haseder. Again, there's a whole bunch of pirushim in the Haggadah. What's arba kaisis is neged, arba shalom is a geula, a whole bunch of different things. Achopanim, you should drink it al haseder, meaning, kadesh, al Haggadah, Birchas Hamazon and Hallel. Himshason zeh achar zeh shelo keseder lo yatsa. Let's say, we're talking about b'diavad. Let's say his wife has a baby on the Seder, and it's 3 a.m, and he has to make some sort of a Seder very quickly, and I don't know, and he wants to just be Yotzei his mitzvahs, or whatever he could do, so, he just have four kaisis, 4 at once, 1, 2, 3, 4, it doesn't work, he has to do a quick Seder. Shir HaKois, Revis, La'achar Shim Zagenu, Shir HaKois is Revis after Meziga. Again, Meziga I used to have a very thick or very strong wine, so they had to put water in, but when it's ready for drinking, that's either Revis, V'yishta Kula or Rubo, you should drink the whole Revis, or most of it, V'yishba Harbe Revios if you have a big kais. And then, Shoitzim V'enu Kol Kach B'nei Adam, Communion Reviu Shavo, that then they should drink, he should drink however many revios in it. The Yesham should say rov kos. Some say you should drink rov kos. Feel machzik kama revios. Some say even if you have a big kos, then you need to drink rov of the kos, even if it's a large kos. Therefore, you probably shouldn't use. They have the Ayahu Navi kosas, which you put a whole bottle of wine in. Don't use those for kadesh. Some people say that if a person you can't drink the whole shir, you gotta be sure to get small enough kos. Don't get a big kos. Get one which is just the shir, so he can drink rov of it. B'tzarech lishtos a shir shel b'hefsek gadol b'intayim. He shouldn't sip it. He should drink as much as he can to get the shir. Someone who does not drink wine because it makes him sick, or sono, or that he hates it. If you give someone dry wine, some people can't even swallow it. So even if a person he ends up by a seder, and the only thing they don't have grape juice, they only have dry wine, he has to push himself to get a reviz down. It says the Gemara says that Rabbi Yehuda, which one it was, drank wine, had a headache for a month after he drank Orach Chaim, so it's a mitzvah choshev. The Gedolim nowadays are makel to drink grape juice. Those who can't drink wine. In America, Moshe was machmir to drink something alcoholic because of their cherus, and without some sort of alcohol in it, he held wasn't their cherus. So therefore, and not mavushal and whatever. So therefore, there are different types of wine which has less less alcohol in it, and also not to have sugar and all these things. Each of min hagel. Obviously, b'diavad yotze with whatever wine, and even grape juice. Mitzvah lachzor achar yaim adam. It's mitzvah to go after red wine, to drink red wine. If you have white wine, which is better, then drink the white wine. The Taz does bring that in times when they're doing blood libels, then you should drink white wine, not red wine, because you don't need the goyim accusing the yidden of using dam. So therefore, even though this is zeicher dam, but we don't need the sakanos. So therefore, you should drink white wine. B'yotzim b'yayin mevushal ubekunditun. Yotzim with yayin mevushal, which a lot of our wines are, ubekunditun, or with spiced wine, which also would mean if you put sugar, wine which was sweetened with sugar and stuff, which there are many wines that are. Also, you go to your mitzvah. Afilu ani hamisparnes minat staka. Even if ani who's getting some staka, yimkar malbushoy. O Yilve, O Yasker Asmel B'Shvil Yayin, he should go ahead and has to sell in order to get Orach Chaim. He has to sell his clothing or borrow money, or go clean floors in order to get money for Orach Chaim. And there's also, obviously the Kupa Shel Tzedakah would be is the achrayus on them to be sure that every ani does have Orach Chaim. This is the case where they weren't, and he has nothing else to do. Because they're also ba'osa anes, women are chayiv, and all the mitzvahs, halayla, even though it's the Matza, and they seem to mitzvah she's man grama, but since they're also in osa anes, they're chayiv in all the mitzvahs of Haggadah, and all the other mitzvahs. Tinoika shegiu l'chinuch, kids who are giu l'chinuch, mitzvah l'yitin kol echad koisa l'fanav, Now, I think the Gil Chinuch is that they understand what they're doing, what you're doing by the Seder, even if they don't understand everything, because you want them to ask questions. But Al Panim, if they at least understand there's arbor or whatever, you should give them a kois. Agav ein likach kois shepif tzar kein klug glass. It shouldn't be a narrow glass. Or let's say you don't have a kois, so you take the bottle of grape juice and just start drinking it down. That might also be a problem. You have to be able to drink revius in one gulp.
One gulp or gulps in at the same one.
As much as you can at one, but here if it's so narrow that you can't get it revius out. You're allowed to drink twice, but you should be able to get a revius out at once.
The Gemara says if you drink it all at once, you're a gagaron, right?
I don't know about abrakosis. I don't know if it applies. You don't anyway stand for kosher bracha. You shouldn't use it. V'chein kosher kiddush. Ayin la'el. Mitzvah l'chalek the tinekes klayes v'egoyzim k'dei shiri v'shinu v'yishalu. And this is a din. It's not specifically a din in giving out almonds or whatever. I know I've been by Rebbe and they give out taffies and candies. I've seen Rebbe, give it out after if they ask a question they get. There's different things. Keep the kids interested. Keep the kids asking questions. That's really the important part. I say that the North Fashinui that I heard the Beis Levi once walked out with a pot on his head in order so the kids would ask, hey, what are you wearing a pot? Like, there's different things that they did. So the kids should ask a question. Mishnah is one thing, but to ask even more questions is great. I know someone who did kiruv and he had an idea to give out that class vergozim. He said he offered like $50 to any of the college students who had the best question or something. So he said the Seder took all night because everyone was trying to ask him questions. But Al Party for the kids, you try to do stuff, make it interesting. That's the point is giving over the Haggadah properly, and you have to make it interesting. Okay, we'll stop here.
Thank you.